Hello, and welcome to today's episode of Pros and Politics Podcast, where we are polished and poised for greatness and impact. My name is Kahala, and I'm your host. Well, we're so excited that you decided to join us today as we talk more about real estate. We've had conversations about financial literacy and from a residential perspective, buying houses and what that means for our community. Well, today we have two realtors, one joining us again, one for the very first time. My dear friends, Nicole Brazil and Porchia Gates.
Yes.
Hey, Black lady real estate agents, brokers, and all things real estate.
Yes. Hello. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so happy to have y'all here.
We are too. We're happy to be here.
I agree.
And you're back.
Yes.
I'm
I'm
back.
back.
You would
like
come
I
back.
never left. No.
Literally like she never left, because we talk all the time.
We do.
Sometimes probably too often. Sometimes too often. And I keep my eye on you.
Yes.
Okay. And we sharing her content now and all that other wonderful stuff. So
Yes.
I'm so happy that you all are here and our schedules could finally come together. Because y'all busy.
We are.
To God be the glory.
Okay.
Thank you.
Because y'all why?
Yeah. New wife in the building. I'm so excited for you.
Thank you.
I am too. Congratulations in person.
Yeah.
Because
Thank you.
I already told you congratulations
Thank you.
virtually and otherwise. So happy for you. And I was like, the whole time I was like, oh my God, she's going to be the most beautiful bride. Like, that's all I kept
And she
thinking about.
was. That's so funny because I said
And
the same
was.
thing. And she was
Thank you.
gorgeous. You
So,
were absolutely
beautiful
gorgeous.
pictures,
Seriously.
ceremony.
Thank you.
The
Yes.
boys were so handsome.
I know they getting so big.
And yeah.
Oh my
Crazy.
goodness.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
can't believe
Crazy.
it.
And can you believe season 1 and now we're in season 6?
You just rolling. Congrats to you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Super duper proud of you. I think it's amazing what you're doing. As you know, I've told you a million times, don't stop. Can't stop, won't stop. There's a purpose for this. And I'm proud of you. Look at this. This is gorgeous.
Thank you.
And you give a
Yes.
place for people like us to come on and share. So I think that's dope.
I agree. I love how you create full circle moments, like from your life with the people that come on. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Thank
That
you.
is
Y'all
so
encouraging
true.
me today, like
Yes.
for real, because
We all need it. We all need it.
You've
Yes,
done it for
does.
us. I know definitely for me. So, and I'm sure, it's for Portia as well. I mean, because I'll let you do your thing on how we all met, but
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we all know.
We know
from
how we
previously
met,
how we
yes.
met. So, LaPortia, so how? And you can just make it full circle. How did all of us meet?
So we all worked at St. Clair County together in Kahala's office when she was the circuit clerk. I worked in probate. I was the assistant in that department. And I mean, that's how we all met,
Yeah.
like at the courthouse, and we just kind of formed a
And it
bond.
turned into a whole thing.
I know.
We did. So it's just been great ever since.
It has been.
Yes,
It's
it
been a really
has.
dope relationship and just seeing it grow and still connecting no matter what facets of life we end up. Now we end up back together again. So I think
And
that's
y'all
cool.
so dope because, like I said, we were all there together in that office, and then all of you, including Sean,
Yes.
went back to school.
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
We
And
did.
so they had
We did.
already done school. And so
We
they
did.
went back to school.
Yeah.
And I was just so proud, right? Because I'm like, so all of them just gonna sit over there and decide to go back to school and did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
we
we
did.
graduated
Together,
All of
yes.
us
We all-
graduated
we have
together.
all we had.
Did we get our masters? at
No,
the
you
same-
just you, not
yeah,
me.
I'm sorry.
Well-
My master's was in real estate. Okay.
Okay, I love it.
And you're doing well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So yes, but yeah, we all graduated together.
It was, and I will never forget going to the graduation because it was me, Judge Cruz, and then you all graduated
Mama Cruz.
and sitting there. It's with the program, and I'm like, okay, well, there's LaPortia's name, and there's Nicole's name, and there's Sean's name.
got a lot
And
of people to look
yeah,
out for.
and we took pictures, and it was just great. And
It
to look
was.
at y'all now,
Yes.
doing what y'all doing now, I'm just like, oh my God. But that is so important
Yeah.
to discuss because we were all in different transitions of life,
Absolutely.
right? We had all been single moms, whether
Yes.
from whatever, however the circumstances, and we had these beautiful kids, and we working full time, and we want to do more.
Yeah.
All of us could have been like, well, I mean, well,
This is it.
my husband passed away, so I guess I'll just roll over and die. You know,
Right.
well, I have these, my boys or whatever, and I got a job, but and it's paying the bills, but we all wanted more,
Yeah.
and so that is so encouraging to anyone. I don't care race, I don't care gender.
absolutely.
Like, there's more for you. Like, God has more for you.
I was just getting ready to say God required more. And we answered, he required more.
And he places you in, certain places for a reason. Had I not, worked at my last job, then I wouldn't have met, you. Had I not worked there, I wouldn't have met, different people that have helped me, in my career. So I feel like, it's a purpose and a reason for everything. When you're in a place, just, be okay with being in that place and take advantage of everything in that space that you're in, because it's going to be able to help you later on in life. So
Absolutely. I think so often we're so ready to move on from a season, not really appreciating what it is that we're supposed to be getting from that season.
That you're in.
Like when God, in the most honorable place you can be in is in a place of service.
Yes.
So we were serving the public, right? And we're still serving the public in some sort of capacity. And I think that you made such a good point. Just appreciate that time, appreciate that moment, because there's so much leadership you learn in service.
Yeah.
So
it's hard to understand at that moment.
Yeah.
Because I did not understand it then, but
You
now
want
that
out.
I'm somewhere else, I get it, and I get what that meant, and I'm just, grateful for relationships and building and things like that, because that's, very important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And God
Absolutely.
wastes nothing.
Nothing.
So that's what I'm getting from this conversation. That's what fell into my spirit. He wastes nothing.
Nothing.
So, no matter, like you said, what season you're in, there's something that you're supposed to be learning, garnering, gleaning from that season. And so we oftentimes want to get out of it so badly that you miss the moment.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I guess that's why you're going to keep sitting there.
That part.
Because it came and you missed it, complaining.
Yep.
It came and and so I'll bring it back. I'm going to wait, though. You're going to have to wait
That part.
Yeah.
because you didn't catch it.
That's what they say about that waiting room, honey. That waiting room. Woo. I don't care what waiting room you are in, if it's at a hospital, a doctor's office, whatever it is. But when you are in Jesus, when you are in God's waiting room, it's like, come on, but I'm ready. I'm ready. He's like, not yet.
Buying that house. It's not your time.
It's not your time.
Be patient
It is
and
not
wait.
your time.
Because, baby, I've been in
But-
that house waiting room for a minute. Oh, I'm sorry, Jesus.
Mind you, you're talking about another house because you already
Right,
have
okay.
a house. So.
Yes.
That is true, Jesus.
A nice one at that.
But just keep doing what he's telling you to do in this waiting room. Keep making it as beautiful. You keep making it a home. You don't have a house. You have a home.
Right.
You have a place that your children are able to find peace in. So keep on making it beautiful because, God looks at what we do with this.
That is true.
Agreed.
Before he gives us
And
the
lots of
greater.
equity.
Oh, she know, because we talk about it all the time. That equity deep, though.
Come
So,
on.
yes, Jesus.
And that's the biggest thing that I try to, even with clients, like we always want to convey to clients that, because they're like, well, I'm going to just rent and I'm going to just rent. I'm like, so you're going to keep paying into someone else's stream?
Yeah.
What I said, I had to use an example. I think I shared this with you before with a client that had been renting from someone for like 15 years. So when we added up the amount of rent that she had paid, it was 6 figures, right?
Yeah.
And because it was a decent amount of rent. And one of the things that I said, in the midst of us looking for a home, she had sort of a medical emergency, had a car breakdown, things like that. And I said, can you go to that landlord and ask for a couple $1,000s?
Back. No.
I said, that is why you are purchasing. You need to build equity. You
Yes.
need to be able to have something that's yours. Because if worst came to worst, you've put into this, you can draw out of this. Same thing with relationships. If you're putting deposit in something, you want to be able to withdraw something.
Yeah.
And that should go in every facet of your life. So
So what brought you to real estate? I mean, you're extremely intelligent. You can do anything that you want to do. And so I clearly remember you telling me, like, this is what I want to do.
So, my husband, he is
You what?
my husband.
That's right,
He does like a lot of investing. And so he kind of brought me into it. And then, after working at the courthouse and working in probate, I learned a lot about the tax sales and how just people were like losing their property by not, paying their taxes. And so I kind of wanted to learn more then. So, one of the judges took me under, his wing and kind of showed me a little bit of how real estate works. And, after that, I started taking my classes and I, really started to, just love it and just want to know more consistently. So then I ended up going to the Recorder of Deeds to learn how the process, how the deed is recorded, how, the mortgage is recorded, liens on the property, just to know like that back end information.
Very important.
So I feel like it is. And I feel like the courthouse was a blessing to me to learn like the ins and outs of how things work, and on me not knowing my future on how I can tell my clients and educate them about how important, these things are.
Right.
So, and then also, I had a degree in business administration from Lindenwood. So that was something that kind of helped me with a lot of my, back end things.
Absolutely.
And then I feel like also just wanting to not have to work a 9 to 5 and to have a job that I have the flexibility. I am a full-time agent, so I have a lot of flexibility to, work with my clients in the morning and evening, but also be able to be at home with my family, pick my kids up from school, dropping them off. And that was just something that I was like struggling with working. So it really, real estate has really helped me, create a better balance for my family. Yeah, the life that I want,
work-life balance.
The life
the
you
life
want.
that I want,
That.
the life that I want for my family, to be able to create generational wealth for my kids, to show them that, although I feel like college is great, I went to college, I feel like there's other things, avenues that you can take if that's not for you. And so, just different things like that is kind of what led me on this path. So I'm just happy to be here.
And I love that in this generation for us, right?
Yeah.
Because, in our parents' generation, like my mother's 75, she'll be 76. My dad would have been almost 80. You went to high school, then you got married and you worked, right? Then our generation kind of came along and it's like, okay, well, you graduate, you go to college,
Yep.
and then you work. But now in this even pre-COVID, post-COVID world we live in, entrepreneurship is like the thing,
It is.
right? And trades and, just different things besides the traditional college education. And I am a huge proponent of education. Huge.
Yeah, me as well.
And will always be, right? But I'm glad that I'm seeing this shifting from you're not going, you got a business. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
a completely different world now. And
Yeah.
so, I mean, look, I got a 9 to 5 and then I got to, this is a whole second job.
Okay.
Like, I talk about it all the time.
All right.
I'm like, I didn't think this was going to be a whole
Yeah.
job. But it's a whole job. And so, but it was a result of wanting more.
Yeah.
I think it's also too, I think it's a big shift to passion.
Yeah.
Like a lot of more people are really wanting to pursue their passion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Why God put them here.
Yes.
Exactly.
And
Yes.
I think that speaks a lot to a lot of growth that I'm seeing in people as individuals in their relationship with God, because that's really, to me, where the root of your passion lies, right? And so I think that's what it was for me. I mean, thank you, Lord. I have a husband who, he has a good job, and we got a lot of kids. We got we got a few. But so I could have not, you know what I mean? But God was requiring something different from me. He was requiring me, like our prayer says, as on earth as it is in heaven, right? There's a requirement to shift what this world looks like. And it looks different for all of us.
Yeah.
Sometimes we want to jump in other people's lanes in order to do that. But I literally sat with God as I started this journey. You and I have had this conversation, and you and I have had 10, 15 years ago. But it wasn't time in due season. And I went ahead and I finished it, but I sat with God. I talked to God. I asked God, if this is really you. And I asked for some things. I was very specific in that. And God did exactly that.
Yeah.
And so I think that it's that passion. It's that thing that you can't let go
of.
You can't let go. Like, I have to.
Yeah.
God is requiring more of me. I can't just check on me and these people at 217. You know what I mean? Like, I have to go beyond that. And I think same thing with you. Like, you always had a drive. You always had a drive.
Yes, Lord, this woman is a worker
You
right
hear
here.
me?
I mean, whether it was in the
And
clerk's
talented.
office or wherever, you were a very hard worker, very professional.
Thank you.
And there was always that something. Oh, because we can never
Tasty
forget
treats.
that first
Come on now.
that first one. I mean, I was like, okay, I want this and this and this. I mean, my husband would come to you for bit. Like
Yes.
it was like I was surprised when you stopped that because
Yeah.
it just grew into this amazing business. So I've always seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
That
you.
business acumen in her. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. But you know, you've been my baby since you can't look. I said, let me quit saying that. I'm sorry. I'm sound old. But you know, you've
I
been
gotta
my
be the
boo.
baby of the
You've
group.
been my boo. How about that? You've been
That's
my
right.
sweetheart since you can't. Like, we both, all of us,
Yeah.
just kind of gravitated toward one another. There's always been something about you. And I think it's a
Thank you.
beautiful thing to see
you,
you.
Nicole.
You know, I'm always saying, I'm so
Yeah.
proud of you. I just think you dope. All that black girl magic.
know.
It is.
I
It's a
love
lot of
it.
black girl magic going
I've
on
been
around
looking.
here.
I've been looking at her.
I
I've been
love seeing it more.
Oh my God.
I know.
More and more, like seeing people, seeing black people actually like taking initiative and doing things.
Yes.
One thing that I wanted to add too is that like helping the community for me.
Yes.
Another thing that I wanted to say is because like when we bought our property, we didn't know every single thing at the beginning, but I feel like as an agent, I wanted to be able to like educate the community, which is why I try to do like seminars and different things like that, because I feel like there is a gap for the black
Absolutely.
community and not understanding the home buying process and what benefits there are to us. So I feel like I try my best to do that
Absolutely.
when
You
I
do.
can.
You do a great job of that.
So
You
let's
really
talk
do.
about that. That's a perfect segue into why we're actually here. But the sister segment, I've always said that I wanted more of that. But that brings us to, a lot of what we wanted to discuss today and how the community really needs to make a shift.
Absolutely.
Right? A pivot. Because this platform is for women of color and for communities of color. Because for so long, we have been, I'll say, held back.
We have been.
Right?
Absolutely.
Now, and not always held. Sometimes it's us.
Absolutely.
Right? It's been me. It's been
Yeah.
me. Right? So I said what I said because
That's
I can
right.
say what I said.
Okay.
Right? So, but it's time for the pivot.
It
It's
is.
time for
beyond.
us to be
Yes.
everything and have everything
Absolutely.
that has always been told to us
couldn't.
that we couldn't have.
Absolutely.
Right? So, from a real estate agent, broker perspective, just whether it's residential, whether it's commercial, whether it's flipping houses, whether it's you go to Nicole or Porchia because you gonna turn it into an Airbnb. Okay. How can the real estate game or how can acquiring real estate on either side really help us as far as like wealth building and generational wealth?
You want to? For me, one of the biggest things is, again, just ownership, owning something that is actually yours. Being able to build that equity into something. And one of the things that, we discussed prior to taping was when we talked about the commercial building, one of my desires is to get a commercial building, right? Because one of the things that so many people in business have a hard time doing is finding a physical location that is reasonably priced for them to host their business.
Especially as you're growing.
Especially as you're growing.
Yeah.
So one of my desires is to get a commercial building and have a space for those new and upcoming small and black-owned businesses to be able to have a space to call their own. There's nothing like turning the key to a door that is yours.
That is yours.
That is yours. That you can give out a card to someone and say, hey, come here. My business hours are X, Y, and Z. I have a physical place. You don't have to wait. It doesn't have to be shipped to you.
Yeah.
I have somewhere for
It doesn't
you to
have
go
to be Starbucks.
Yeah.
It doesn't have whatever
me at
that-
Starbucks,
Come
right.
on,
Yeah.
you don't have to meet me at Starbucks. Let's meet at my office. It gives you a presence of professionalism.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Let's just be honest. It garners a different type of respect.
Absolutely.
And if we're keeping it real, when it comes to financing and things like that, you're able to get those accounts because with your business accounts, you need to be able to have an address. Sometimes those virtual addresses, if they have a P.O. box attached to them, you can't use them. A bank won't accept them. So it puts you in a position to be able to grow your wealth. It puts you in a position to be able to help other people because now you have a service that the community needs and there's a physical place to go and get that service.
Yeah. And I would also add on to that to where like if you wanted to, own a multi-unit, you could you could stay in one of those, units. And let's say you had 8 units, you could stay in one unit. Let's say 4.
Yeah.
4, let's do 4 because you could still do FHA or conventional with a 4 unit. So let's say a 4 unit, and then you stayed in one, and then you are creating wealth by renting the other 3. And then you can start there and use that money to not have to pay rent, and then save it, and then eventually go and get you another one. You can get maybe just a duplex, or you can get your own house that you've really been wanting. I feel like a lot of times, when people want to purchase a home, they want their dream home. And I feel
Out the box.
Out
Right,
the box.
right.
Out the box. I did not get that. I did not get that. It didn't work like that for me.
Nobody did.
I would say that we ended up purchasing a duplex. It was about $40,000, right? We had to paint and do some things and update it. But when I say the equity that we gained on that property is
Through the roof.
through the roof, And so you can use that money and you can go buy another house.
Absolutely.
Or you can take out the equity on that property and get more investment property. Or you can take out some of that money and get rehabs, get more rehab property, or use that for your kids to go to college. It's just what you can do so much more. The power with the power behind which I
the
agree.
buying or the investing power.
Yeah.
And again, it goes back to also providing a safe place for people of your community to live.
Agreed.
Like that is
Because you're not the slumlord.
Yes.
Like
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
am in one of the 4 units, and I'm really invested in it because I live
Live
here.
here, right?
I live here.
I live
And
here, and I
then
want it to be better.
Absolutely.
When I follow the Porchia Gates plan and I
Hello.
move out,
Yes.
Hello.
I'm still, because I am a Christian and because I'm a good person, and I want my children to live safely and in a clean
And you want a
environment.
good return on your investment too.
Exactly.
That's the other thing.
That
Right.
is true. But I'm going to be the good landlord.
Absolutely.
That's going to answer your call. That's going to make sure the water heater isn't rusted and
Yes.
all those things. So again, building community.
Yeah.
And I think
Absolutely.
also with that, making sure you pick the right location, the right
Location,
area.
location.
Yes, because
And part of that is picking the right realtor because we will help.
that's right. Plug it. Plug it. Yes.
We
Yes.
will make sure you get, because so often you hit the nail on the head with that.
Yeah.
Location. How do you do that? And you don't know what you don't know sometimes. That's why and one of the things I have to, and I want to give some kudos here for all the people, because we're going to claim millions of people are going to watch this. I want to give my kudos to my sister realtor here, because I can pick up the phone and I can
Yeah.
call this woman.
You too, though.
Yeah,
You
I can
too.
pick up the phone, and we do not. Let's be clear, we do not work for the same brokerage,
Yeah.
but we are sisters in this business. We love each other. I have had many of occasions where I've picked up the phone and I've called Porchia. Hey, I got this situation. You ever
Yeah.
heard of this? You ever ran into this? What do you think about this? We're able to bounce those type of. Again, I saw a quote not too long ago that says, "People at the bottom compete, people at the top collaborate."
That's right.
Yes.
When I,
That has been cycling.
That's right.
That has been cycling on
Yes.
every social media platform. Yes.
And it's real.
It's different up here.
It's real
Yeah.
with you, with Porchia, with Star, with Patrice, just so many I could name. I have such a beautiful relationship with these women. Like, I genuinely feel confident. I don't just go to my amazing managing broker, Renee Lewis. I can go and I can talk to my sisters and be like, hey, I got this situation.
Yeah.
Or I can be like,
What do you
hey,
think about this?
yeah. And it's priceless to have that, because there's so many nuances. There's so many things that can happen in this market. When the government changes and the laws changes, it changes.
And different
financing
experience.
opportunities.
Everyone's real estate experience is different.
different.
Absolutely.
Everybody has every transaction is different. Nothing is the same. So when you have someone that has went through a similar transaction, it is very beneficial, and it's a learning lesson, and you might experience something similar. So it's very, very much helpful.
Absolutely.
It is.
And that you all hear, Porchia, everybody's situation is different. I
Yes.
cannot stress that enough to our buyers and our sellers, because so often they'll say, well, my cousin or
Girl.
my friend or my...
That's any industry.
Yes.
Because
like,
when I tell you, folks be like, well, my cousin, he got probation. Or my,
It's not that.
it's not the same set of facts.
Yes.
It's not.
It's not.
Yeah, that was whatever. You done ran a whole bus of kittens off the bridge, but you want no. Every situation is different. Case by
Yes.
y'all remember that from the clerk's office. That case by case basis.
Yes,
That's right.
case by case basis. So that's something all of you buyers, you investors, you sellers, you have to remember. Even if your sister, y'all got the same credit score, listen, it's something they may not have told you.
It is.
Okay.
They didn't tell you something.
Exactly. Their reserves may be different. Their credit history may be different. There are so many other things that goes into purchasing that can make your situation look completely different. A lot of people think, oh, well, I have a 700 credit score. Okay, but what is your debt to income ratio?
High.
What is your income?
What is your
High.
income?
But your debt is high, so your limit is low.
Right. And so we have to be able to give you our realistic options. And a delayed is not a denial, right? You know, we talked about that before. It's a situation where let us talk. Let's think about the different type of lenders. And that's why it's so important to get you an agent, because we have so many different relationships, right?
Yeah.
Get you a good lender and look at and be honest.
Yeah.
Don't all that stuff that you guys think is G14 classified that's not gonna come up.
It does.
Underwriting is coming up.
It
does. And those liens, those federal liens that you're hiding that you think nobody can see.
The child support
Title
payments,
company
we
will
see
find
them.
the
Yes.
alimony payments,
and
or
they
maintenance.
can't stop you from closing.
Yes. And
Yes.
it's and the thing about, and it's not to discourage, but to educate,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
We say these things because we want to educate you, because we want you to have the best house buying, investment buying, selling experience as possible. And the only way for us to do that effectively is that you be transparent and you be honest with us, because we love our clients. I don't call them customers. So many of my clients, like literally I got a text from a client that we closed, I don't know, weeks ago. Hey, just saying good morning. You know, so we build really good rapport.
We do. My clients coming to my wedding and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, they did. They can't.
All the way out. Oh, that's,
Yeah, they
And that's
did.
huge.
This the love is real.
Yes.
Because it's the it's the biggest purchase majority of the time that you ever make.
right,
So-
bigger than any
and
car,
they trust
bigger than
you,
any-
and they
Yes.
trust you and your advice.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I do want to say another thing. I feel like in the community, a lot of times, when it comes to supporting, you may think that, hey, I don't want to go to this realtor or this person because they're gonna know, my financials.
business.
They're gonna know my business. And for one, like in our code of ethics, we can never tell your business. When you're our client, we can never tell your business. As far as your financials, that's only given to your lender, the financial company you go through. So we don't have access to that. We just know your pre-approval amount. If we ask what your max is, if that's something you want us to know, but we don't know.
They are professionals.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
So what did you say? Find you an agent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And all agents, just like all lawyers, just like all doctors, all teachers, all whatever, are not created equal.
Yeah.
So do your research. And I'm a huge advocate of referrals and word of
Yes.
mouth.
Yeah.
So I know people will contact me all the time now that, I'm almost 2 years out of politics. Because remember, I couldn't give it. The Supreme
Yeah,
Court
you
was like,
couldn't.
if you are a clerk of the court, you cannot give referrals
Right.
for
Yeah.
obvious reasons.
Right.
And so now that I'm out of that in my current capacity, people can call me and say, well, hey, you know the family, I'm getting a divorce, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And so I tell people all the time, well, yes, call Jocelyn Sandra. No.
Right.
But
Call Jocelyn.
I will tell people, there's nothing like word of mouth.
It
Like
really
if you
isn't.
had a family member or a friend that went through a circumstance or situation, don't have to be criminal. I mean, civil stuff
Right.
happens all the time. And there was a good outcome. Again, won't be identical.
Right.
But choosing people who are going to help you make the biggest life purchase or the biggest life decision,
Yeah.
that is very important. And
Absolutely.
so word of mouth is critical for me. I know, and I
Yeah.
would encourage anybody else to really
I mean,
ask around and
Yeah,
ask people you
absolutely.
trust.
Yeah.
That
Don't
part.
just get on Facebook now. Sometimes that's,
you have to.
if you're
right,
looking for a nail
but-
shop,
Yeah.
okay, but otherwise you can do that, but really get with a close circle of people that you trust and ask, hey, do you know somebody that's good for this?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Listen, my father, who we
Amazing.
know I think is Superman,
Amazing.
Batman, and rolled in one, he has literally never, ever in his 50, 60 years of 50 years, 40 some years of business, he's never done a commercial. He has never run an ad. But
stay busy.
He was a single father.
Yeah.
He raised me. I did not go hungry. I'm well fed. No, I don't look like I'm starving now. Okay. And I was always taken care of. All of 100% of his business has been referrals. 100%.
And as a realtor, that's very important.
Absolutely.
For our clients, because that's how we continue. That's how we continue our business. That's how we feed our family. So, you giving, a great experience that we gave you
Absolutely.
is definitely, important to us, and it helps it helps us.
Listen, because don't get me wrong, I like my check. Okay. But because I also know I got in this because God gave me permission, because God said this is where I was supposed to be. I kid you not. I had one of my last reviews. I cried, okay? Because that meant more to me than that check. You understand what I'm saying?
And you mean your review from your actual
from
actual
my
job?
actual client with my closing.
Okay,
I had
gotcha,
a closing recently. And this woman who is amazing, and we just gathered such a great bond. And it was a very tasking closing. It was a lot. Get a good lender. I cannot stress that enough.
Yes, I almost didn't make it. Yeah.
And so, but I said that to say that meant more to me than that check I cashed. And I'm gonna be honest, I was a dual agent on that. But that review was everything to me, because it cemented what God had told me. It affirmed so many things for me, because when you are doing something out of passion, out of purpose, it hit different.
It does.
It hits different.
It really does.
And that's what this is for me. And I've come to accept I'm not for everyone. Like I'm not we understand that. Like
in the words of Corey Hill, my sister ain't for everybody. And I'm okay with that. I'm not supposed to be for everybody.
Right.
Yes.
And that's because I'm exclusive, and I get that. You know, I mean, but no, seriously.
A particular clientele.
Seriously.
It's made for me. Thank you.
No, yeah. and that's like even with your family. Maybe you're not the person to best serve them. Then refer them out to someone you trust. Because at the end of the day, my goal is to get you to the closing table and be happy with that purchase.
Yes.
My goal is to have you find a place to call home or your investment property to fulfill whatever that dream is that you came to me to get assistance with. So,
and I want to address this too while I'm on here. I've heard, like, you hear little things as a realtor and when you're around, and I've heard like, oh, well, maybe, she doesn't want to help me because my budget is, 40,000, 100,000, 150. She's selling houses for 500,000. I think that, for me, I'm willing to help anybody. If you want help, and you want to receive my help, I want to help you, because you buying a house for 40,000, you were me at one point.
Hello.
That was me. I had to buy that house.
Absolutely.
And I want to be able to help all budgets and all different kinds of people. And even if you're an investor and you're moving in that 4-unit and, the rent on it was $1,000, and you want to split, you want to not pay anything, and then everyone else pay your mortgage for you. I want to show you how to do that. I want to help you, because I feel like there's just so much that we need to teach, and we need and our people need to learn.
Absolutely. Again, because it's your passion,
exactly,
and your purpose.
and you want to
we
do it.
Block our what did we just say a couple minutes ago?
Yeah.
Sometimes we're being held. Sometimes it's
We're
us.
holding ourselves back.
We block ourselves in so many ways. What'd you say? Well, Portia don't want to help me because she's selling these $1 million houses. That's you. That's not Portia.
Exactly.
You've made that up in your own.
You haven't called her.
Nicole didn't tell you that. Kahala didn't tell you that. Portia didn't tell you that. No one told you that. But you're seeing whatever you think you're seeing, and you're allowing
something inside of you,
fear, the self-doubt, whatever, to stop you, and putting it on Portia. Like, don't put that on me.
Or a bad experience that you had with someone else.
Yes.
Don't put your bad experience that you had, because let's be honest, there are realtors that are like that.
Yeah.
We're
They're
just
not
telling you,
equal.
we're not those realtors, because we come from a different place. We're in this for a different reason. We're not the realtors that if you don't meet a certain budget, I can't deal with you.
Yeah.
I remember even when I was in class, one of the realtors there, and she's been in the game a really long time, Terry, shout out to Terry. She's amazing at Colwell. I don't work for them, but Terry's amazing. One of the things she shared with me, she said that her client that bought like a $40,000 house, it wasn't a big commission. Well, then they would ended up being one of her biggest purchasing clients later on.
Yeah, because they're going to tell everybody, she helped me buy this house.
Well, and then that client, when they were ready to make all their other purchases because you treated me with respect.
You treated me good, yeah.
I circled full circle. I'm coming back to the person that was okay with my $40,000 when I'm coming for my $1 million. Because
Exactly.
we claiming your $1 million house for you too.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
So yeah, I love that you mentioned that. I love that you, because it's such a misconception out there about realtors, and people look at you and listen. We have to be honest. We have to work harder. Like we could lie and say that that's not the truth, but when you look like us, when you're a brown skinned girl, the game is different. And when you're a woman, you know there's the
different.
we getting it out the mud. Okay,
Yeah.
we work hard, and we have to put ourselves together. We have to present a certain way.
Yeah.
Because that's our plight, you all. You know, that's the challenge that we face. But don't let that make you think, we don't care about the $40,000 buyer.
Right.
I care about everybody buying, because at the end of the
Agreed.
day, I want you to get the home of your dreams, and I want to revitalize the area that I grew up in.
Yeah.
And so, if you're purchasing in East St. Louis, yes, I'm willing to help you. You know, if you're
Absolutely.
listening to East St. Louis, yes, I'm willing to help you. Cahokia Heights, any of those areas, we want to serve you all because that's our community.
Yeah. And we want to bring, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
And I was saying we want to bring more, bring people to those areas and back to those areas. And I thought maybe you were about to go into that.
Well, I just love I'm willing to help anybody because that's what I'm here to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Because again, that's why we're here today, to talk about, of course, all things real estate, but also what we can do
Right.
to be better, right? As a community, as a people, what we can do to revitalize our neighborhoods and things of that nature. And it's so important. One, like you said, we're here to help.
Yep.
$40,000 budget, $4 million budget. We're all not created. None of us we're not all created equal. So we want to make sure we pick the right one. And then getting past ourselves.
Yeah.
Getting past ourselves, because the days are over for blaming everybody else. Oh, this person, that person, the white one, the black one, whatever. It's time to start saying, okay, let me get the knowledge that I need. Let me get the information that I need. Let's start making moves. My edges got snatched this morning before y'all got here about, it's time to start making some more calculated moves, because it started, what'd you say, from the mud? Started from the bottom, now we're here.
Yeah, we are.
And
And
so,
going.
okay, started
going.
with goose eggs everywhere. 0 followers here.
Okay.
Yep. Now I just celebrated. We thank God 4,000. I'm like, okay, from 4,000 to 40,000.
Okay.
That's right.
Come on now.
That's right. And it's coming.
But
Speak it into
Speak those
existence.
things that are not as though they are.
But
That's
faith
right.
without works is dead.
dead.
So, yes, we've accomplished, we've done, and so now it's time to do some more to
Absolutely.
get to the next step. And so we have to make sure that we are not our own worst enemy anymore, that we are making the decisions based on calculated, good information.
Yes.
And working with good people.
Yeah, and not closing yourself off, right? I think so often we want to, these my ride or dies, these are the only people I'm ever talk to for the rest of my life. Well, then you will be right where you are for the rest of your life. You know,
For the rest of your life.
And God is so intentional when He has something for you to do. He will bring folks from way back over yonder that you have not talked to in
It's those full
forever.
circle moments.
The full, yes. I literally had a woman that I went to high school with. I hadn't seen her in forever, and now all of a sudden I see her everywhere. Shout out to Julia Mine; she's an amazing agent out in Chicago, and now she's like another mentor of mine. So you can't close yourself off from opportunities, from learning from people. You don't know everything, right? And then don't just take what you know and keep it for yourself. That's why
Blessed to be a
hosting
blessing.
yes,
Right.
That's why the fact that and that's something that I'm gonna hold me accountable on that. I want to start doing more of that, like the first time home buyers classes and things like that. That's why it's so crucial, because you can't just hold that knowledge that God has given you. You got to give it to the people.
Yeah.
Because you're doing him a disservice and yourself.
Oh,
when
that's
you
good.
don't use what it is that he's giving you. What they
Absolutely.
say, you let everybody use you but God.
Oh, don't do that. Yes.
That's good.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm
That's
like,
good.
ouch.
Right.
That kind of stuff.
I know, right? Oh,
And then you
I was
let
like,
everybody, I'm like, Jesus, I'm sorry. You know, I'm gonna let you use me. I'm sorry.
Because
to let you use
there's no whooping like the one you can get from that daddy.
Okay.
No. So before we go, we've talked about. I heard you, and we kind of glossed over. And we ain't. Who was that? Kevin Hart was like, nah, I know we're not gonna go past that. Like you didn't just say that. The challenges. We all know, as women, especially in industries like this, that it's historically not a woman's industry, or especially not a Black woman's industry. The challenges that you face and how you all together and individually are getting past them.
Ooh. I don't know if I told you this. I even had just recently on, I'm just going to be transparent here. On a land listing that I had, that my picture is on the billboard, on the sign, someone removed it.
Really? You know what? I had a listing for about $650,000. The day it closed, it didn't even finish closing. They took my sign and threw it away. Those signs are expensive.
They are.
It was like the L frame. The L frame, the really fancy
the
one.
L
The
frame.
L frame sign.
I'm not even a realtor, and I know what the L frame is.
They threw it in the trash. They didn't throw the L frame away, but they just threw the picture of me away. So it's things like that.
Things like that.
Things like that. Like I said,
Or the not calling me back if it's your listing, but I can find out one of my Caucasian counterparts, you calling them back, and they're getting the showing time that I may have just required. I've had that happen.
yeah. Or like I was saying, like with clients too, like you know, them feeling, you know, a certain kind of way, like just like we kind of just discussed about like price points or you know, how you look, you know, compared to the price point that you have. I've seen it's a lot of different scenarios, like how, you know, you may come to me and or as a client, you may come to me and work with me. And then, you know, I do one thing wrong and it's no grace, and then you'll go somewhere else and then they get all the grace because I see it happening. And you're working with someone. Like I had a client, I was working with them for a year and took them to go see
Multiple.
Countless houses.
Countless, right.
Yeah.
And I said, can I refer you to someone, you know, since this isn't working out, can I refer you to someone? And they went ahead and found someone on their own, instead of me referring them to someone that I, you know, or giving them options that may be a good fit. I just feel like sometimes we have to work so much harder than others twice as hard to get to where we want to be. And sometimes it's from our own, and I feel like it can be hard. And I feel like not just in real estate, I feel like all businesses. Because when you go to Walmart, you'll take this and that from Walmart waiting in a long line.
But when you go to a Black-owned boutique, I know
they took too long to check me out. I'm leaving. I don't want to buy it. And I feel like give us grace. Remember that these things everything wasn't taught to us. We didn't come from a family that owns tons of businesses. You know, we are creating generational wealth ourselves. You know, the first time around, we may not have had.
We're going to be the first millionaires.
We're going to be the first millionaires in our family. We didn't have that from our parents, and I feel like sometimes, you know, it's taken, you know, kind of the wrong way. And I wish that we could like change that, or you know.
That's good.
Yeah.
That you're absolutely right. And it happens so often. And I think that's why I'm so intentional in so many regards of shopping the small and the Black-owned boutiques. And I go to the St. Clair Squares and get the perfect pops in the mall, or the BGBs, and get items, because we are not Walmart, right? We don't have the discounts because of their huge buying power.
Right. But we have the quality.
But we have our service.
Is
so
next
many
level.
times our service is so top notch.
Tier.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's funny because you use the perfect word. You will provide that grace to someone that doesn't look like you. And you're right. So often it's people that look like us that do it. But you'll provide that grace to someone else. But the first thing that we do, or that you may feel is contrary or whatever, instead of having a professional discussion, you talk bad about us and you leave and you go somewhere else.
And tell somebody else.
Right.
And a lot of times get treated worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, then they come back around.
Yeah, or don't. But like Portia said, that's across the board.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes, across the board, not
Because
just real estate.
In the legal profession, 2% are women, black women, 3% are black men. And again, I was everything from a public pretender, but then when I give you the level of representation that you've never received from a public, I'll never call a public defender a public pretender again after you represented me. Well, you never should have done it in the first place.
Right.
Because of a previous bad experience, then you want to paint us all with the same brush.
Right.
Or again, Jocelyn Sandifer and I have had this conversation right here on the platform where the grace is not extended.
Yeah.
Because, I should have known that I shouldn't have went with a black look. Why?
Right.
Why? You robbed 8 liquor stores. They stole a Snicker
Yeah.
from the gas station,
Yeah.
and you thought you were getting this. I
Yeah.
just knew. And why is it about you shouldn't have had a black lawyer?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I agree that those challenges are still there, and we take the hits that we take now, so that our boys
Yes.
and our girls
Yes.
don't have to take those hits. But
Yeah.
it's very encouraging and empowering to know that there's a collective that though we face the things that we face and we experience the things that we experience, we're still going.
I'm still
Yeah.
going.
We wake up and
we
live to
are
fight another day.
educated. Like
Yes.
like we take the time to educate ourselves, not just on a collegiate level, but just in our field.
Yeah.
Like we
have to take CEs right now. I mean, at the end of the year, we have to consistently educate. And I mean, a lot of brokerages, offer additional courses and classes so that you do know everything that you need to. I mean, at my brokerage, I'll go over the contract, and that's so important. Like for a buyer or a seller to know, make sure your agent understands the contract that they're explaining to you. I've had people say, my agent didn't even explain this contract to, so you signed a document that they didn't explain to you. Now I would have never did that to you, but I didn't get the opportunity to show you greatness because you didn't let me give it to you.
I love it.
But I have heard like different scenarios like that, or trying to keep, the person felt like, an agent was trying to keep them locked in the contract and not help them get out of it. There are, sometimes ways out. And if that's not for you, I don't want you to buy something or have to invest in something that is not going to work for you.
Right.
We got to figure it out to try to get you out. And that's what realtors do. We fight for you. We are there for you, through the beginning and end and after the home buying process. That's what I tell my clients. I'm there for you before, during, and after, with whatever questions or concerns that you have. So I feel like stuff like that is important. I feel like people don't ask those questions up front when they are going to purchase. Or are you going to just help me from start to finish? Or are you just going to throw me off and send me to somebody else? Are you going to send me to your showing agent and let them show me houses and then you come back around at the very end and I see you at closing?
Like the doctors, the nurses take care of you, and then at the very end, the doctor comes in and catches the child.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
You're absolutely right.
So,
I couldn't agree with you more.
Like, so because I'm individual, I might have somebody like translate my transaction for me, but I'm still going through everything with you. They're just handling paperwork, paperwork or something like that. But I'm still talking to you consistently every few days, giving personal,
Given
absolutely.
that amazing top tier education experience from start to finish, and even after the finish.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's important. It's important because we care about what we do.
Exactly.
We care about what we do. We care. And I care about how one of my girlfriends said to me the other day, I told her she reminded me of someone, and she goes, really? How is she? I always, how is the woman that I remind you of? She said, because I always am concerned with how I show up. And we care about how we show up,
And I think that's also what goes into the grace, right? Because we shouldn't have to work for your grace, but we do. So we show up looking like this. We show up educated. We show up having done our continuing education. We show up on time. We show up for you. And so we do that because we have to. Like, we have to be twice as good. And then a lot of times that's still not even good enough. My daddy told me from a little girl, baby, growing up in East St. you got to be twice as good. And then there have been so many times in almost 46 years that twice as good still wasn't
not
good
good
enough.
yeah.
But you keep going, right? And that motivates you
Yeah.
to keep going because, oh, okay, what'd you say? Out here with this excellence. It could have been you. What was that TikTok for a while? This could have been us. This could have been us. This could have been us.
You
But
know what? We might have to steal that. Do it. This could have been us at the closing table, but instead you chose otherwise.
Yeah.
This could have
That's
been us. But, see, and my personal Kahala spin on it, and people who know me know, I say this could have been us, but you plays. You play. You plays a lot. You play all the time, and so it could have been us. So,
So now this is where we are.
but it's gonna be y'all.
Yes.
So I want y'all to look into the camera, take turns telling us how we can get Porchia and Nicole to be our realtor so we can have all the wealth and get these $1 million going. Get these millions going.
Absolutely. Well, I am with Renee Lewis Realty, LLC, right out of Belleville, Illinois. I'm a East St. Louis born and raised, but you can reach me on my platform on Facebook. I am D Nicole the broker. On Instagram, I am Realtor DNB. And call me, 618-616-6226. I would love to help you purchase your first home, your first investment, or let's just talk real estate. I want to see you at the closing table.
I am Porchia Gates. You can contact me at 618-418-2235. I'm with Remax Results Realty. We are, our office is in Columbia, and I work out of, St. Clair County, Madison County. And I would love to connect with you and assist you with the home buying, selling process. I do home buying seminars, and I will have one coming up. So, make sure you keep a lookout on my page. It's Porchia Gates, Remax Results, or just Porchia Gates also.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming. I'm so happy that, again, we were able to get our schedules together finally because we was getting flued out to get married and we got all of these kids and, honey, I stay back and forth for work, Chicago and everything, but we're just out here being great.
Yes.
And so greatness, it takes some time to get that together. And so
Absolutely.
I want y'all to keep being great. I love both of y'all so much.
Love you too.
I'm
Thank
so
you for
happy.
having me.
I know. Thank
And
you
so
again for
proud.
having me again. I appreciate
Yes,
that.
so happy and so proud of both of y'all. And we gonna have to come back. And next time y'all come back, it'll be on some straight sister chat. We gonna talk
I love
husbands
it.
and kids and
Oh yeah,
I love that.
newlyweds all the way to the vets.
working
I know, right?
working and still being that girl, because that's
How
a whole
about that?
conversation.
That's
That girl. Well, you that girl. Both of y'all that
girl.
Baby,
We all that
working,
girl.
running businesses,
Different versions
being
of what that
wives,
girl
mothers.
looks like.
Yeah,
I like that. Oh, that's a show right there.
Yeah, that's what it's gonna
Yeah.
be. That's it.
That's actually, you could do like a live podcast and invite people. That would
Absolutely.
be something fun.
It
like
could be
women.
the that girl.
Oh,
Okay.
Uh-oh.
We got something coming.
we got something.
We got
I
something.
think
We
it's
got
gonna
something
be
brewing.
big.
We got
I
something.
know, right? Y'all heard it here first. Right?
Yes, the collab. See, that's what we talking about. Getting together with like-minded people and just
Yep.
being great. I
Yes.
love y'all. I love
Yes.
y'all. And thank you for tuning in today to Pros and Politics Podcast, where we are polished and poised for greatness and impact. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll see you again next week. But in the meantime, please like, love, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you then.